I was also going through videos of apologists, Muslims and Christians talking to each other. It felt like their questions were a lot of times misleading. Sometimes they were just like, why is the order different and stuff like that. I felt like if you are trying to look at the book in a more open-minded way, could potentially be answered. And similar thing I noticed from the Christian apologists that they were also bringing up a lot of questions about Islam that were first easily answered and also doing a disservice. In some ways, I thought it was manipulating, and it was really unfortunate because I thought maybe apologists would have the answers that would be great, but unfortunately that was not the case, and that was true of almost every single apologist. And I was so disappointed. I was like, oh man, they're just trying to win for their team, each of them. I felt like no one was really trying to learn about the other person's beliefs or trying to look at it from an open-minded way or trying to actually have a conversation to learn about the truth together. Instead, it was just about one team versus the other. It was just about one person's prowess in debating powers and compared to the others, which to me was so surprising. Why is it about your prowess as a debater and not about the concept that you're actually trying to talk about and the core message that you're trying to talk about? So I was very disappointed. At that point, I was actually starting to move away from mostly the apologists and listening to a lot of those videos. I mean, I would continue a little bit, but it was not great. Another event I should clarify also, my friend Brian, he actually had met Al-Fadi. He's a previous Muslim. He converted to Christianity and now he runs a channel where he goes over, I think, the historical Quran and historical Islam and everything, archaeological evidence about Islam and the Quran. He also has his old Facebook channel. So I actually talked to him over the phone. My friend Brian actually connected me with him. We also got friends with on Facebook. So I talked to him about and my main question was like, why did you convert? It was basically about that. And it was actually a very good conversation. He told me, look, to me the answer was because of what I saw in the message of Jesus and everything. Unfortunately, when I saw his actual channel and the comments that he was stating on Facebook, they were very different from the conversation I had with him over the phone. On the phone, he seemed like a very reasonable, nice person, a very good Christian, and open to explaining why he believed one way or the other. But on the Facebook, it seemed very attacking, very much from one side, and felt like similar things could be applied to Christianity, and they would read same kind of issues. And that was surprising to me. Another experience I had was there was another Christian apologist. His name is Frank Turk. I think he has a YouTube channel called Cross Examined. So he came to Penn State. It was actually a very big lecture. So I went there with Brian and a few other friends from ICF. It was actually about his book, Why I Don't Have Enough Faith to Be an Atheist. So it was more about atheism and Christianity and why God exists and why Christianity is the true religion. After the lecture, there were Q&A, so I actually raised my hand and I got up and I asked a question. And I was like, based on what you just said, all the people who are not hearing the message of Jesus, they're going to hell. So they have not heard about Jesus, but they're still going to hell. Can you explain that? Is that what you said? And can you explain how that is just or merciful? Actually, he asked me the question. He was like, are you Christian? Do you believe in the resurrection of Jesus? And I was like, no, I don't. And he was like, okay, why not? And I was like, I'm a Muslim. He was like, okay, if I give you my book, would you read it and actually consider this? And I was like, of course, yes, why not? But I was like, could you answer my question? He was like, okay, you can come back to me afterwards and I'll give you the book and we can talk about this question also. So I went over there, he actually gave me the book, he signed it for me, and I still have it somewhere. So I asked the question, I was like, okay, so could you please go over this? And he said, well, Islam has, and the Quran has so many more issues about violence and how it says you can go and kill all the non-believers and everything. I was like, wait, what? I was so surprised. And then there was another person, so they were two people who gave their lectures. So the other person also was I don't remember the exact verses he quoted, but it was from chapter 4 of the Quran. It actually talks about how, go kill the non-believers and everything. And by that time, I had not reached the chapter 4 of the Quran, by the way. First, I didn't know about that, so I was like, okay, wow, I guess I'll go look at it. And second, I was very surprised that they didn't first answer my question and they just flipped it back to me with something from the Quran, which I was like, are you trying to win a debate with me? Because I'm not trying to debate you. I'm trying to understand this question that I have. These kind of experiences, and also I started to look into other debates where there were a lot of personal attacks, for example, by David Wood. There would be a lot of attacks to other apologists, just personal attacks. And then the similar thing I saw from Muslim apologists. So, for example, one of the apologists I started to see, his name is Muhammad Hijab. I also was surprised how he was interacting in the debates, and there would be personal attacks with David Wood. And to me, this was just very surprising. More importantly, it was surprising because I'm like, how are you acting? And for me, the question would be, for David Wood, and this would be, is this how Jesus would act? Simple as that. Is this how Jesus would act and react and interact with anyone, with his enemies, or anyone else, with his friends? And in this case, we probably care about Muhammad Hijab and everyone else, or whoever you're debating with, because you want them to be saved, right? And same thing for Muslim apologists, in this case, say Muhammad Hijab, it's the same thing. I was like, is this how the Prophet would have interacted with others when he was trying to portray the message of Islam? Is this how he would have done it?